Supervisor Garcia, Mark Gomez, friends, followers, welcome to the latest edition of the Ballot Brief here with the election supervisor, the Honorable Alina Garcia, where she'll be speaking in just a moment. And today we have a lot of news. We had a recent visit from Senator Rick Scott. Of course, a couple of weeks back, we had our state of elections, the first ever for this office. And we also have an upcoming event with FarmShare, which is why Mark Gomez, who heads up all our outreach, is joining us today. Madam Supervisor, welcome to the show again. It's great to be with you.
It's great to be here.
So let's begin with the recent visit from Senator Rick Scott, all about elections integrity. And it's something that really Miami-Dade and Florida have been shining on for many years.
That's true. You know, Florida is the model for the rest of the country. And a lot of the things that are in that bill, we already do in Florida. Like, for example, when you go to vote, you need to bring a government-issued ID with your photo and your signature, and a lot of states don't do that. So it's we take a lot of pride in the work that we do here in Florida after the Gore Bush election, which was, you know, that craziness of the hanging chads. Our legislature and our governors, they have constantly been looking at elections and making elections safer and more accurate, and I'm very proud to lead this team that we have here at the Office of the Supervisor of Elections in Miami-Dade County, and we do a great job here, and I'm very proud of the work that we do.
And if I may add, one of the cool things that we recently encountered was we were able to visit with Supervisor Garcia at the Florida City runoff elections, and we saw that interaction happen right in front of us, right? Where a voter was there, she didn't really have the right ID, it didn't have a signature, and our folks were like, hey, look, we want to make sure that your vote counts. We want to make sure that your vote is going to be counted, and moving forward, we want to make sure that you're ready to vote. And they walked her through it, and she was able to cast her ballot by bringing the proper identification. So you know what? It's easy, it's accessible, it makes it a lot safer and a lot more, it makes the process better for all the voters, right?
Yes. And, you know, right now, when you register to vote, there's a little box that you check that says that I am a U.S. citizen. Mm-hmm. And we don't check documentation on the front end, but we do check it at the back end. The Secretary of State does a great job in ensuring that the people that are voting in Florida are U.S. citizens. And with this new bill, Rick Scott was telling us that, you know, you probably would have to show your birth certificate or your passport or your naturalization documents. But, you know, we're already doing it. We're doing it in the back end. This would be doing it in the front end. And I think that we are the model. You know, we really are the model for excellence in what elections are all about.
So our guiding principles include precision and security. So that's at the forethought of everything we do here, is to make sure that our elections are secure. And they were central themes also in your recent first ever inaugural State of Elections address and annual report, where again, security, precision, accessibility, and transparency were really the guiding principles of all our accomplishments in 2025. Yeah. Tell us about the event itself. How many people came? What were the thoughts behind inviting all those people, nearly 400, into our warehouse for that first ever event?
The thought is, you know, I don't want elections to be a mystery. I want elections to be something that people understand, that people have, that people will know that when we're doing here, when we're counting the votes, that we're counting them properly, and there's nothing weird going on. So the best way to do that is to have, you know, invite everyone and have everyone come in. And, you know, as I always tell anybody that I meet, if you want to come for a tour, we're happy to show you how everything works. And that happened on our first State of Elections. A lot of people came. We had a lot of colleagues, a lot of elected officials, my family, friends, our neighbors. It was wonderful. The president of Miami-Dade College, Madeline Pumariega, introduced me, and we also had the mayor of Doral, Christy Fraga. She did welcoming remarks, and we had a rabbi, and we had the other Gomez, Father Gomez, also say the invocation. It was a very nice event. I think the people saw the magnitude of the work that we do here in elections. People think that elections is only election day. No. Elections start at least 60 days before election day, because you have to prepare the ballots, you have to qualify the candidates, you have to you have to do so many things, and then you're ready for election day, where people just, you show up and you go vote, and that's it. You know, it's
And
wonderful.
if it's Tuesday, it is.
And if it's Tuesday, it's election day in Miami-Dade County.
That's right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we have to, we have elections happening all the time, and it's a wonderful thing.
And Mark, you wanted to chime in as well on the state of elections?
I think that the state of elections was a beautiful event because it leads to that point that we always try to make about transparency and just opening the doors and accessibility. So we have, once we open the doors, it gives it a different light, right? It's no longer something that's far away from us, like the supervisor was saying. It's now something that's tangible. And my brother's father Matthew, and he was one that came and did the invocation. And I liked that at the beginning of his prayer, he said that I can't compete with the other brother priest here, but. And one of the things that when we were leaving, he was like, so all of elections happen here? And it's like, well, yeah, this is the hub. This is where, ballots are created. This is where they go out. This is where they come back to. This is where they're counted. And he was like, man, this is awesome. This is democracy at work. And it's
I don't know if you know this, but Mark and I were born on the same day, different years, because I'm a lot younger than he is.
But only by a couple. Only by.
And we both have brothers that are Catholic priests.
Yes.
What a great connection. And one of my takeaways that night was faith, family, and service in that order.
Amen.
That's really served you well over more than 30 years in public service. And I think you can't go wrong if you use faith, family, and service as your guiding principles. Why is that important to you?
Well, that's what rules the world. That's what rules my life. Faith. We can't do anything without God. With God, everything is possible, and without Him, nothing is possible. I wake up every morning and I thank Him because, I'm breathing and I'm living, and I live in the greatest country in the world. And as guardians of democracy here in the Office of Elections, I think it's very important, And then family, that family is what gives you the gas to wake up every morning and go to work and ensure that you're doing everything right and trying to improve everything because you want your children and your grandchildren to prosper and to have a better life than what you had.
So let's jump a little bit into some of the reports and some of the gains in the annual report, better said. And of course, we increased voters by more than 44,000. We also increased our social media following. We had 16 elections that were held flawlessly. We also invested in technology and modernized the office. Tell us about that.
We also did the election for the Police Benevolent Association, which wasn't an election for the people, but it was a very important election for our police officers. It's super important to invest in our technology. We always have to do the best we can for the people of Miami-Dade County, and we got the DS300s, which now, in Florida, we vote on paper, which is great because there's always an accountability. But now not only will you have the paper that you voted on, once you submit that vote, there's going to be a capture, there's going to be a picture of that ballot. So it's even going to be more, it's going to be safer and more accessible.
Absolutely. And of course, we issued a booklet that day. And all of this is due in part to the great team that we have here, our great voters. And that was part of your message as well that evening.
Yes. We have a great team here in the Office of Elections. I am one of the lucky one of the lucky people that ran for office and inherited a great team, an office that really works, and we're just improving on something that already works. And now we're trying to ensure that everyone that can vote, that comes out to vote. That's a big mission for us to go out there in the community and talk to everyone and ensure that people are registering to vote and coming out to vote. At the end of the day, our voice is our vote, and when we vote, we're communicating what we want from government. So it's very important. It's very important to do your homework, so see who the candidates are, and to see who's like-minded with you, and then go out and vote.
I thought one of the highlights of the evening was when you asked the employees to stand from the Office of Elections. And I think we have, about 150 employees, but there must have been close to that number in the audience, in addition to the other 300 people from the community. So that had to feel special.
It was very special. It was a very special moment, and I'm very grateful and thankful to God because, I feel that we're moving forward, and that our office is not only an office. We have a family. We have a family of people that are all like-minded, in the sense that we want to ensure that the Office of Elections works, that our voting system works, that everything is above board, that everything is transparent, and everybody is pulling in the same direction. And that is such a wonderful thing, because we are really a team and we are a family also.
And I think that's a testament to your leadership, because I think if we are all feeling that pull, we're all gonna, jump in line. So I think congratulations. It's
Thank
for
you,
sure.
Mark.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's like being in a canoe and rowing in the same direction
right.
as opposed to in different directions.
right.
And one of our employees even recommended the Rabbi Mario Roisman, who's bilingual from the Benny Rock campus,
he
and he was
wonderful.
great. And both Father Gomez and the rabbi did the invocation and the benediction, which you insisted on.
Yes. It was a beautiful moment, and the rabbi, I hadn't met him before, but the moment that I met him, I felt that we were friends for a long time, for forever. Wonderful man, and of course, Father Gomez.
Yeah.
He's
I taught him
wonderful.
everything he knows. No.
Yeah.
So that's a great transition into the next portion of the show. Faith teaches us to be charitable, to help out our neighbors, to break bread with our neighbors. And we have another farm share event coming up here. We didn't do a one and done during Thanksgiving like a lot of people.
No,
you
no.
made a commitment to do this, I believe, quarterly.
Quarterly.
Tell us about farm share.
Well, Farm Share, we're going to do quarterly, and when Farm Share comes, we get to feed 500 families, and it's a hand up. It's a hand up. Some people are struggling, and I think it's a good way to give back to the community, and if we can help out through a Farm Share, we need to do it, right?
And Mark, you're the point person on logistics. Tell us about what to expect and what the date is.
For sure. So the farm share, the upcoming farm share will be on February 24th. The event will start at 9. Hopefully, if everything gets set up, we'll start a little bit earlier. So line up early that day. But it'll be February 24th. It'll take place here in the office of the Supervisor of Elections, but we'll be queuing through Doral Central Park. That leads to my next point of collaboration. It's a beautiful collaboration between the city of Doral, the Doral Mayor, Christy Fraga, their police department, our sheriff's office, and all of our staffs, and we come together. So like that, we recognize that there might be people that aren't as blessed as we are at this current moment in time, because we might be going through something sometime soon, and we're hoping that will be repaid to us as well. So if that's the case, then we have to give back from the beginning, and this is the opportunity to do do that.
And we're very blessed to have great neighbors and great collaborators.
Absolutely.
In the sheriff's office and the Doral, the city of Doral, they're great neighbors,
And we have a group of youth again helping us out.
Yeah. So last time we invited the folks from the students from Great Heights Academy. It's a school that caters to students with special needs, and we invited them to come back, and they're extremely excited. They're eager, so you'll be able to see them, say hi to them when you come by, and yeah, they're always really willing to help lend a helping hand, right?
right.
So yeah, they're
That's
great.
very important,
Yeah.
and it creates community and involvement, and at the end of the day, we're all in this together.
That's right.
And in addition to the grand responsibility of hosting elections for the county, you want the Office of Elections to really be a hub for building community, for doing these types of things that we don't necessarily have to do. We're busy enough as it is, but to have the farm share events, to have the tours, when Rick Scott came through the office, the tour of the South Florida, or Sunshine 100 came through as well. And it seems like every week there's groups of people coming into our house. And that's very important to you.
That's very important because we're all, as I said, we're all in this together. And if we work together, we can move forward and make Miami-Dade County the greatest county ever.
It already is. It already is. Yeah,
Well,
for
except
sure.
for the traffic.
And of course, we're now in the Lenten season. It's important to mention a period of reflection and renewal for many people of faith. Tell us about that, Madam Supervisor.
Well, it's a great time of year for us to look inside, and to grow. There's always something that we can make better, within ourselves. So it's a time of meditation. It's a time to be grateful, and it's a time to grow spiritually. So I look forward to this Lenten season. Wednesday is Ash Wednesday, so we look forward to going to service and praying, have a lot of prayer, fasting. This is the time to look inside and to see all the things that we need to improve in ourselves, which there's always room for improvement.
For sure.
And Mark, you're a very spiritual man. Your thoughts on the Lenten season? It also coincides with the Judeo-Christian calendar as well, and Passover is coming up too.
Absolutely. So I think that the main theme for me, when it comes to Lent, when it comes to thinking of our brothers that celebrate other similar holidays, would be just preparation. Right? It's a moment to prepare our heart. We are Easter people. Even though we're going to go through the death. We're going to go through the moment of what's going on, that moment of uncertainty. You put yourself in the moment, and back in the early days of Christianity, you think of what were those disciples, what were those apostles thinking when Jesus was no longer around, and they were saying, is he actually going to come back? And we already know the end of the story, right? So now it's a good moment for us to say, hey, yes, we are going to go through the death of Christ. We are going to go through this moment where what's going to happen, but we know what the end of the story is. So it's a good time to prepare, to say, hey, the resurrection of Jesus is coming, and we're going to be able to, we're going to be able to get through this. No matter what it is, we're going to be able to get through it.
And that's important too, because I think we're talking about traffic and we're talking about the fast pace and the demands of today's world. But it's important to level set and think about what really matters, to reflect, to think of family, to think of faith and love. So I think it's a great time of year to maybe slow down. We just came off the holiday season, but to slow down and think of our why. So, Madam Supervisor, I think we are just about out of time. This is, after all, the ballot brief, not the ballot long. So if you want to close the show, that would be fantastic.
Well, I wish you all well. Make sure that you're registered to vote. Make sure that if you have an election coming up in your city, that you make a plan and go on and vote. And I hope you all have a wonderful Lenten season and that you grow.